All right, let's talk about something that pretty much every single one of us goes through, but it feels so incredibly lonely when it's happening to you. Heartbreak. It's this huge, messy, painful journey, but you know what? It can also be the path that leads you right back to yourself. So let's walk it together.
You know that feeling, right? That ache in your chest that's so real you could swear it's a physical injury? It's not just a saying, it feels real. So, is it just all in our heads, or is there something, actually going on? Okay, so let's get right into it, because the answer is actually pretty wild, and it's backed by some serious science. So, get this. To your brain, the pain is real. I'm not kidding. Neuroscientists have looked at brain scans, and they found that the part of your brain that lights up when you, say, burn your hand on a stove, it's the exact same part that lights up when you're going through a massive heartbreak. So no, you're not being dramatic. When you say you're hurting, your brain is literally processing it as real, physical pain.
And it goes even deeper than just brain chemistry, right? Because what you're losing isn't just a person. You're losing a whole future you had planned out in your head. You're losing all those little inside jokes and daily routines. And maybe the hardest part, you're losing the version of yourself that existed in that relationship. It feels like a piece of your identity just got ripped away.
And look, heartbreak shows up in so many different ways. It's not always the big, dramatic movie breakup. Sometimes it's loving someone who doesn't love you back. Sometimes it's being betrayed. Or maybe it's that slow, confusing fizzle where you just drift apart. No matter how it happens, the pain is real and it's totally valid. So, okay, we get it. It hurts like hell. The big question is, how do you actually get through it? Well, it helps to have a map for this emotional storm you're in. Let's break it down. You've probably heard of the 5 stages of grief, and man, do they apply to breakups. First, there's denial, that this can't be happening feeling. Then the pain and guilt really hit. That often turns into anger and bargaining. The what if I had just done this one thing differently phase. After that, the deep sadness and loneliness can set in. But then, eventually, you start moving towards acceptance, and that's where you start to see a little bit of light again. But, and this is so important, healing is not a straight line. It's messy. You're going to bounce around these stages like a pinball. You'll feel acceptance one morning and be crying in your car by the afternoon. That is not a sign that you're failing. It's just the process. It's totally 100% normal. Okay, so we've talked about why it hurts and what the emotional roller coaster looks like. Now for the most important part. How do we actually start to heal? Let's get into your toolkit. Thinking about the whole healing journey can be super overwhelming. So let's break it down. Think of the first 30 days as just survival mode. Seriously, just getting through the day is a win. Then the next few months are about actively building forward. And after that, you get to the good stuff, real long-term growth. So for that first month, your first aid kit is key. Number 1, go no contact. I mean it. Block, mute, whatever you have to do. Every time you check their Instagram, you're just picking at the scab. 2, you have to feel your feelings. Let yourself be sad. Cry it out. Don't bottle it up. 3, create new routines. That coffee shop you always went to together? Find a new one. 4, take care of your body. Try to sleep, eat something, go for a walk. And 5, and this is a tough one, resist the rebound. Give yourself a minute to just be with yourself. I love this quote from Marcus. He says he treated healing like a job. Think about that. He didn't just try to ignore the pain or distract himself. He scheduled time for it, he showed up for it every day, and he gave it the attention it deserved. That mindset is a total game changer. And when you start doing that work, that's when you get to the next. And honestly, the most powerful phase of this whole thing, figuring out who you are again. This is the question that hits you, right? Who am I without this person? It's scary, for sure. But it's also an incredible opportunity. You get to figure out who you are, all on your own, without anyone else's influence. And then there's this one, which can be a real eye-opener. What parts of yourself did you kind of lose or hide in that relationship? The hobbies you dropped, the friends you didn't see as much. Now's the time to bring all of that back. So how do you actually do that? Well, you can start small. Make a me list. Literally just write down all the things you like about yourself. Take yourself out on a date, just you. Get creative, paint something, write, cook a crazy meal. Reconnect with your body, go for a run, do some yoga. And set some new goals that have absolutely nothing to do with romance.
And this is what's waiting on the other side. Sarah's story here is so powerful. She found a version of herself she didn't even know was there. Stronger, happier. And listen, I know if you're in the thick of it right now, that sounds impossible. But it is. This future is possible for you too.
All right, let's look ahead to life on the other side. What does it actually feel like when you're really, truly healing?
So here are some signs you're getting there. It's not like a switch flips one day. It's little things. Like you can think about them and it doesn't feel like a punch to the gut anymore. You realize you haven't checked their social media in like a week. You can actually enjoy a quiet night by yourself. You start to see the relationship clearly, the good and the bad, without all the emotion. And best of all, you start getting genuinely excited about your own future. I really want you to hear this. You are not broken. Heartbreak has a way of making you feel like there's something wrong with you, that you're damaged goods. You're not. You were brave enough to love and be vulnerable, and that's a superpower, not a flaw. And you have to remember, your story is so far from over. This was a chapter, a really hard one for sure, but it's just one chapter, and it's ending, so a new one can begin. So that relationship is over. The pen is officially back in your hand. And this new chapter, it's completely blank. The question is, what are you going to write?